get going any moment now. And yeah, think we are good. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down, do a Q&A for you lovely people. I'm streaming on both platforms right now. I'm on both Facebook and the tubes. So again, it's going to do a Q&A. You guys see the topic above. You know what? Since everybody else is so obsessed with that from 11 years, that was 11 years ago, by the way, that satire. And I think people lost sight of that. It was literally 11 years ago. But since people associate it with me and videos about it get 1 million views, I'm almost thinking that's a good way to piggyback off of it, right? Let's throw that in some live streams and see if we can actually piggyback off some of that traffic and get some people coming through here. And then we can come in and talk about real topics once people come through just to see what's going on. And maybe we'll get some actual traffic. Or I could just redo the whole skit again. I can't remember all of it, though. It's been 11 years. I could redo the skits, I suppose, and maybe get 1 million views. Get invited on the Alex Jones show. It was all conspiracy stuff. But let's get over. Let's talk training. Let's talk shop. So you guys hit the like as soon as you get in, guys, and let's get some comments and conversations going. And let's, I'm going to get a poll going for everybody here. That's what we need. All right, let's see. Let's get that poll going, and yeah, we need a poll option happening here. Thoughts on chest-supported dumbbell rows? I think they work great. I think they work great. I've done them myself on camera. I've written them for clients. You've seen client blogs who do them. No, I think chest-supported dumbbell rows can be good on an incline bench, especially if you're trying to really hammer just the upper back a little bit harder. No, I think they can have their place. They're decent exercise. Southern Cowboy says, I found you in early 2018 after most of that. Yeah, that was a few years later. I love how you aren't afraid of updating as data evolves and years of trial and error. Absolutely, man. We have to do that. We have to update stuff as we go. How old are you when you started TRT? Do you want an honest answer or do you want me to lie? Because if I told you I remember the exact age without checking my medical records, I'm going to have to lie. So what are we looking for? Can I just ballpark it? Can we just get in a loose ballpark? Somewhere in my early 30s at some point? Ballpark, okay. Early 30s. Jason, who has better lifting and physique and body genetics, Michael Hearn or Alex Leonidas? Michael Hearn, and this is not even close. Not even close. I mean, dude, Alex is basically a midget. He's like a few inches from being a midget. What are you talking about? Are you a Texas A&M fan? Oh, man. I'm going to have to, by default, say go Aggies, but I don't really care. Don't really care, guys. Let's see. I've been watching Jason since December of 2014. First I believe of his was one of his Sunday Q&As. Awesome, man. That's also comparing natty versus not natty. Eternal. What do you mean? Neither one of them is natty. Which one are you accusing of being natty? If Vegan Gains challenged you to a fight again, would you agree to it for enough money? I thought someone hacked your YouTube with this title for a second. No, man, we might as well cash in on it more. You ever miss anything about? No, not even close, dude. No, Texas is dramatically better. I mean, not trying to upset anybody, but it's not even really comparable. Lower cost of living, better quality of life, more freedoms, better weather. I mean, you know what I mean, dude? The castles. You guys have castles. That's it. I'm not sure if you're actually British. Antioxidant, I really don't care. Like I have no interest or concern with who would win in a fight. So I actually don't. I really don't care. I would only care about the money involved. Like I'm not even going to answer that. Actually, you know what, man? Let me dramatic it up. I actually don't care about fighting, and I think anyone who does is a fucking moron. But yeah, man, I'd whoop that ass, bro. Come up with 50 grand for the cage match. Let's do it. That's the only answer I have. Right. Like I honestly think anyone who really cares about men who can beat each other in a fight is a degenerate who should probably just be put face down in a ditch and one in the back of the head just to get them out of society. Like we just don't need that sort of goofball trash. Just get rid of them. Right. That's my view on people who talk about throwing hands and fighting. Like like anybody cares as grown men. Just execute them. Get rid of them. Society be better without pieces of filth like that. All right, next. Alpha Destiny would be the catcher because he has the smallest with the lowest T of the crew, probably. Eternal. You don't know what reloading cartridges is? I weep for the culture. Any grown male who doesn't know what reloading cartridges is, I literally weep for them. That's depressing. Or just, wow. That's depressing to me, man. That any grown man doesn't know what reloading cartridges is. I have to question your upbringing and your culture. That's a very sad thing. To me, that's very sad. Like, and I do mean that. And if you say, "Well, I don't live in America," well, that's a problem. So why don't you guys overthrow your governments and get your gun rights restored? That's how we did it. We overthrew a European government and formed a nation, and we created a Second Amendment. Done. There's your solution. There's no excuse for that, guys. Jason, Alpha Destiny is doing coaching now too. He has been copying you again while hating that. Of course he does. All right. I was getting rid of you. I've never met anybody who lives in Section 8 housing in my entire life. I don't know why you guys say, but no, I mean, I really mean that. I have never met anybody, to my knowledge, in my entire life who lives in Section 8. Did you have beef with Alpha Destiny? How are we defining it? Yeah, of course we did. And I clowned him for a bunch of good reasons. Very long beef. Well, oh God, you went there. Goes way back. What's going on, Connor? How you doing, bro? Skillet. Connor's in the house. One of my moderators. Do you play video games? No, I think video games are a complete waste of time. And you guys know my position on that. I stopped video gaming years ago, and I've said repeatedly, video games are nothing more than a useless time sink for men that destroy your productivity. They destroy your productivity as a man. Go learn to play an instrument. Go learn to shoot. Do something useful. Something that brings value or a skill to your life. Going to Leroy's seminar next week. Not going to take HIIT as gospel, but as a way to sharpen my repertoire. Fair enough. How many years have you played? I took 20 years off from playing it, over 20 years, but I've been back almost 3 years, right? I mean, I put up a clip of me playing the other day again. It got thousands of views on here, actually. Actually, I put it up on both platforms. It did really well. Are people going to ask you if you watch anime? I know, right? You're playing video games, you watch anime? I'm like, no, I make fun of people who watch anime. Man, people get upset. I talked about that a couple times on Facebook, and the anime dudes, they get so defensive. And I'm like, dude, you guys are never going to lose your virginity. You're going to be loser virgins your whole life watching that stuff. Do you have any muscle memory in your guitar playing skills when you picked it up? Yeah, pretty quickly. I mean, a lot of it came back fairly quick. Yeah. And I mean, things like scales and stuff, you're going to remember those things. But yeah. As far as motor unit, not what you think of as muscle memory from lifting, because that's based upon muscle fiber nuclei count. Sadly, what about you? What do you mean, what about me? Trust me, most anime, and they're a tiny minority. Like, dudes don't understand that. I only speak to the US. I don't care about other countries with that, but in the US, very few women watch anime. Their surveys show they're a very small percentage of the viewers. Where do you see yourself? That's none of your business. I keep my personal life private. I keep my business model private at this point. People are willing to die for their anime. I mean, they're dying on an incel hill, right? Which is fine but dudes who cry about, I can't get a good girl, I can't find a wife, I can't find, right? Dudes who struggle with dating are dying on the anime hill without realizing all these studies and surveys show that women find it unattractive. They think men who watch anime are weird. They find them unattractive. They find them to be creepers. They think of them as little boys, so on and so forth, right? And it's like, that's fine. If you have married a smoking hot, perfect wife and you still enjoy anime and you have met your soulmate and you're happily married, hey, great. But if you're struggling to meet a girl and you literally do a hobby, that interferes with getting women, you have no one to blame but yourself. Who cares what someone does in their own time? EJ, I do, because people come and complain to me. When you get the number of people I do who come through the comments section who can't meet girls, which is an unheard of thing. Before everyone became incels, before anime, before all this other weird stuff, no other time in the history of the human race had men ever struggled to reproduce. This is a strictly modern phenomenon. And so when dudes show up and complain to me about it all the time on all my social media, then yeah, I'm going to care, because I'm telling them the solutions to their problems. Does that make sense? That would be like if you had something in your free time and it was really common that interfered with your lifting, and you came and complained and said, hey, coach, I'm really struggling to get lifting done in the gym and to make gains. And then it turns out that you have a cocaine addiction and it was really common. And then all these users are like, man, I can't seem to really make the gains that I want. And they're all snorting coke all the time. I would be like, hey guys, the cocaine is a problem. You should probably quit snorting coke. It's interfering with your goals. So it's the same with the dudes with the anime obsession. It's interfering with their ability to get girls. Yep. Man, the cocaine addiction hit close to home, but I quit a while back. Hey man, good stuff. Glad you quit. What's going on, Lars? How you doing? Although my ex was a coach. But we probably need to move on from that. Man, the views are low in here. Oh, well. Hit the like button, guys. There's a bunch of you commenting and not enough likes. That's not helping the algo. No, and I've never ridden a motorcycle. I have Meniere's disease. You already know I have a vestibular disorder, guys. Come on. I've made whole videos about my medical history. It should be pretty common knowledge for anyone who's researched me at all. So I have Meniere's disease. I can assure you getting on a motorcycle is not on my to-do list. Actually, riding a normal bike might be fairly difficult for me now that I think about it. I don't ever try it though. Definitely not doing a motorcycle. Good way to wreck a motorcycle. Brian Johnson's just a weirdo who comes up with weird. So all biohackers are crazy. So by default, I think biohackers as a group are insane, and they're just complete nonsense. So that's really all I have to say about Brian Johnson and his stuff. These people are just crazy. Hold on. Oh, great. Now I can't adjust my volume anymore. Antioxidant. Right. So I don't understand what's confusing to you. There it goes. All right. Make sure my sound is turned up. So I don't understand what's confusing to you about that. One of these is requires strength, the other requires balance. I don't have a sense of balance. Just like some people don't have a sense of vision, some people don't have a sense of hearing. The organs that control balance are destroyed for me. Like they're destroyed. They don't function. So I don't have any sense of balance or movement. So riding a bike would be potentially dangerous. I mean, I might be able to learn to do it, but I don't think it's worth the risk. Yeah, you don't need a sense of balance for that. You just have to have good muscle control and explosiveness. But definitely riding a bike would not be fun. I don't like climbing up ladders. To be fair, I don't like getting on ladders at all. It makes me very uncomfortable. And I do it sometimes because sometimes I need to climb up a ladder to do things, but I'm not super comfortable with it. Like if we're going to just be honest and forthright, I get nervous about it. Because jumping or squatting is one thing, but the movement, the up and down with the risk of falling, because the falling is the real concern. That is actually a substantial risk for me. This night I woke up with pain in my left thigh that took 5 minutes to subside. I've done squats earlier today. Any tips for avoiding that? Because I don't know what's going on and caused it. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll need to Google Meniere's. So yeah, I have bilateral Meniere's disease. So I have it in both ears. Been diagnosed since I was around 30, roughly 29, 30. Hey, Jason, looks like science-based lifting, but it's not really science-based, is it? It's finally dead. Dr. Mike exposed Jeff Nipples out of the picture. No one selling programs like Naturally Enhanced. It's a great time for kids to start. I take creatine when I remember. I haven't been remembering lately. I haven't bothered. I can't do box jumps. I don't even have vestibular issues. Just clumsy with the gauging height. Yeah, you just got to learn to gauge height. I got pretty good coordination and athleticism genetically, but I don't have the balance. So that kind of makes stuff harder. Right. But I've generally been clumsy because I've had ear issues my whole life. So I'm good at coordination in general. So I have a high degree of coordination. So I'm probably genetically gifted athletically, but because I have no sense of balance and have struggled with ears my whole life, I've never been on an oil rig, EJ. Please show me where I said the word oil rig. You guys keep making that up over and over and over and over. I have never been on an oil rig. Or do you mean natural gas? I don't know why the only people who say oil rig is from watching troll videos. You kind of out in yourself. Because I have never, ever, ever uttered that at any point in my life. Not even once. All right. No, I can't jump rope. I do a wide variety of stuff for cardio. You've seen me run. I've done running vlogs even on here. Did I have Meniere's disease diagnosed or potentially? The doctors think I probably had it in my left ear since late teens, maybe, but it didn't go bilateral until after that. If body weight slowly increases, will dips continue to build muscle due to the increased body weight? Sure. Any progressive overload? If I used to watch Black Gold, it was about Texas oil rigs, pretty wicked, cool. I do own an oil well, partial owner of an oil well. Hey, Benjamin, I'm not going to answer the question because you should already know the answer to this question. If the weight on an exercise increases, will it build muscle? Off to the gym. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat, bro. No, I'm not going to bother to answer that question. Will adding weight to an exercise cause you to gain muscle? What do you think? The amount of weight that you're lifting goes up. Will it cause you to gain muscle? Who's they chasing? What are we talking about? You're talking about oil field workers? You got to be specific. So is that what you mean? Because you're talking about oil rigs, or are you talking about oil field workers? I don't know. I'd never worked in the oil field. I did natural gas, which is probably pretty similar. Yeah, they drink and fought a lot. Eternal. I have a whole video breaking that down. Too complicated to answer. I don't feel like going into the full vast history because I had to sit down and think this through for a detailed video. And remember, let's see, when did I first pick up a weight? And then I didn't touch one for years. It's like, you know, and I don't remember the exact age when I started taking it seriously later. But the first time I lifted a weight, I was maybe 11. And I probably did it for 2 weeks. So see the problem. But early 20s, I started taking it seriously. Call them roughnecks. Yeah, I think that's usually what they call oil field workers. Will you continue to produce? I do not tentatively have an answer to that question, Benjamin. I haven't been making any new ones or putting them up lately. I have a bunch not uploaded. I do not have a current answer to that question at this time. They worked in the rig, actual drilling, I think. But yeah, chasing. I don't know the details of what happens on an oil rig. I've never actually been on an oil rig. Because I've only worked with natural gas and hydrogen, and you're not drilling with that. Those are all third pump stations. So pump stations are either individual pump stations along the way where the compressors are. There's so many miles between them. And then, of course, the chemical plants have main compressors, and then offshore have some. I feel like too many people, when they bring this up, they really focus on the offshore, like I did it a lot. And I tried to be clear. Maybe 1%, maybe 2% of my whole experience in natural gas was offshore, right? Less than 5%, though, I think. Who has some of the most aesthetic physiques? Doesn't need to be bodybuilders, past or present. I'm about to just start naming women. Because aesthetic means beautiful. So, yeah, I really don't care, honestly. I mean, I could sit there and answer that and say Frank Zane or so on and so forth, but I don't really care. She said Bonnie Blue, she's a babe. I'm going to go with Hattie James. All right, there we go. Any of the women's wellness competitors can have the most aesthetic physiques. Right, the women's wellness division has the most aesthetic physiques in the world. There you go. Right, little in the middle, but she got much back. Little in the middle, but she got much back. Mm-hmm. But I mean, obviously, so if you're wanting to name men, dudes like Arnold, most of those era of guys, Larry Scott, Arnold, and then later guys like Frank Zane. Do hip hinges work the abductors and abductors? They can. Some of them do, to a greater or lesser extent. Some chicks in pro wrestling. I couldn't name a single pro wrestler. Right. What's Ronda Rousey did? Did she do pro wrestling for a while? Golden era guys were goats, right? Yeah, definitely the golden era had the best physiques overall. Like, I guess some of the more modern dudes for men's physique and stuff might in the off season, except the ones who oil their delts. But at contest time, they look hideous. You know, like nobody thinks that looks aesthetic. Like by any classic definition, like you shouldn't be all striated and rainy. Um, no, it's not simple. They're just pinning all their gear in the delts. She's not that aesthetic. Ronda Rousey is just a whiny bee. If anyone, yeah, I don't know what else she does. I don't keep up with her personality or what she's doing. I was just trying to think of a name. Right. Since you said women's pro wrestling, I don't follow pro wrestling, so I don't really know any of their names. So that's why that was the closest thing I have. Because I thought she might have gone into it. So you brought up a topic, and that's the only name I have. I don't know any other. China, that chick China, she was a pro wrestler. So if Ronda Rousey did it, I can name 2 pro wrestlers who are women. Right? That's the only two I name. Whoever, someone else brought it up. Yeah, some chicks in pro wrestling. I see some chicks in the gym with crazy backs. Is that natural? Because I'm thinking Anavar. I don't know. So you're just like, I see some chicks in the gym with crazy backs. Is it like, I don't know. I don't see them. I don't see the women at your gym to tell you if they're natural or if it's drugs or not. Sorry, bro. I can't help you there. I'm not there looking at them in person. Um, but considering how ubiquitous gear use is, it's always just fair to assume and just move on that someone's on gear. Like, don't ever assume anybody's natural. It's just silly. Here's the thing: how is it women's squat committee yet their legs look freaking huge? What? Retype that in English. Um, Retype that in English, please. Yeah. A lot of times, muscle size goes about relative strength. Women have much smaller frames than men, so their thighs relative to their body is going to be pretty big. And then women are going to have more fat in their legs than men on top of it. They have more fat in their thighs. Right? Right? It has to do with fat storage patterns. And you're also looking at relative proportions in the fat storage. Like if there's weaker, they're not technically bigger in terms of muscle tissue. So a woman who only squats 200 pounds is objectively going to have smaller quadricep and glute muscles than a man who squats 500. That's just unavoidable. But she's going to have more fat around them and in them and underneath them and her proportions. So they're going to proportionately look bigger, definitely. But her actual quad muscles will definitely be smaller. All other variables equal. Yeah. Yeah, I think too many people do spend too much time worrying about natty versus not natty. It's simply safer and easier to just assume that anyone you suspect might be on gear, that they're on gear, and move on. Right. And the only reason I've covered this in the past is because it was a topic of education for people, and about showing people about the fake natty thing as far as a scam. And it was just part of my business too to do that. But as far as a personal level, I don't stand around and worry about it. I don't have a moral view on it. It's just the same people are here and move on. Right? It's just reality. Gear use is so widespread that anyone who's making a living doing any of this stuff, it's just fair to assume they're on. Since everyone has access. Although I would never promote fat gain. Fat does make muscle look a little bigger and fuller. Yeah, coach has been exposing these pounds for at least a decade, right? Which exercises benefit a bowler in cricket the most? I don't know. I would just assume, because I don't know anything about what a bowler is in cricket, I would assume the same thing that will carry over to every other sport. Just get strong, right? Always remember, getting generally strong is more important than your sport specificity carryover, at least at the entry level. So your big movements, just get strong. Everyone thinks fake natties have to be 250 when there's a ton of 150 to 180 pound dudes on gear, right? Any exercise that helps you swing better. But it's not just swing with the upper body, anything that involves additional hip extension, so squats, deadlifts, cleans, pull-ups, pressing. I mean, the same stuff that gets everyone generally strong should always be a foundation. Until you have a baseline of strength, worrying about sport-specific carryover in the weight room is a waste of time. It really is. It has its place for fine-tuning once you're decently strong through your entire body. Yeah, I mean, Chasing Gains is right. There's tons of fake natties who are 160 pounds. Tons of dudes on gear who are 160 pounds. It's extremely common. In fact, they way outnumber dudes who are 250, right? If you were to take that ballpark range of guys on steroids who weigh 160 versus 250, give or take a little, they outnumber them 100 to 1. Okay? Dudes in that other range versus the 240 or 250 on steroids outnumber them 50 to 100 to 1. The majority of steroid users are well under 200 pounds, the overwhelming majority. And anyone who's ever been to a gym knows this already from talking to dude. I wonder what happened to Raw Riches. I don't wonder. I don't even remember him. I know I made a couple videos about him like 12 years ago. I don't even remember who he is other than the name. Like Rob Bitches or something, whatever the joke was. I don't even remember him. I don't remember what he looks like or what he did at all. Wasn't he a fitness model or a physique competitor or something? People will bring that up and go, but didn't you make this video on like 12 years ago? I don't remember that stuff, man. People expect me to remember a video I made 12 years ago. I'm like, dude, I don't even know who that dude is. Oh, man. I do occasionally get that in conversations and it throws dudes off. Like I'll do consultation or whatever. So I'm bringing it up. Be like, I really don't remember that. It's like, do you remember everything you did at your job 10 years ago? Oh, yeah. When I was over at this one center and I had to adjust this on a modem or something. You don't remember that. Back in 2015, on a job site, I had to calibrate this, this setting. Yeah, you don't remember that, dude. And I know that seems strange to the viewers who watch this stuff, but it really is like that. I don't remember any of that. Just like you don't remember the fine details of maybe every customer you talked to 10 years ago. Every setting you calibrated on some device at your work 10 years ago. Yeah, you probably don't. So when you put it in that perspective, I think people get it a little bit better. Like, I made 20,000 videos, guys. I don't remember all of them. But I vaguely remember something that I did something about him squatting, and I think I took a picture and drew some lines. That's all I remember. Something with some red lines drawn through his squat. And he was like a fitness model or something. And that's the entirety. Yeah, remember that board you miscut making that deck 15 years ago? Right, exactly. Chasing is really like that. And I think it does throw off some of the longtime followers because for them, they might have went and saw the video again a few months ago and laughed about it, remember it. But to me, it's that board you miscut 15 years ago and making the deck. It's just another day at work, right? It's just another day on the job. Oh, man. Do you think having a bench squat and deadlift day is a good split? It can be. It could be a good split or it could be a really bad split. Depends on the specifics of your programming and what you're doing, Benjamin. Hey, Joe, I appreciate that, though. We'll see what happens with the training tomorrow. I wonder what just having the chill day off is going to do with all that. Great title, Coach. Appreciate it, Peppermint. I figure I might as well cash in on it since people are still so obsessed with it. I'm hoping maybe one of my live streams will get 1 million views because of it, right? Get 1 million views of it. Here's the crazy thing. Again, talking about just doing our different projects for work. Do you guys know that just like we were talking about Rob Riches, had it not gotten made a big deal out of and it been like thrown out there over and over obsessively, I would have forgotten the entire fake Merc thing. It would have just been a little blip on my radar. Like, hey, you remember that couple videos you made about Simi and Panda? Be like, who? Oh. Like it would be like, no, yeah, he's that black dude, right? It would literally be like that. Had it not gotten all blown out of proportion the way that it was, it would have just been another little blip of, oh, no, I don't really remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I think I was drunk or something. That would have been the extent of it. But, But I mean, people still take it so serious. I figure I might as well embrace it because I've had a guy spamming at me yesterday on social media, right? Was saying that I need to get therapy and for believing that I'm a mercenary and that I need to go talk to a therapist and I'm mentally ill. And I'm just like, it was satire from 11 years ago, dude. Like it's not stuff I run around saying. It was a couple of satire videos under the influence of alcohol 11 years ago. I wouldn't even remember it if you guys didn't bring it up. But in their minds, they think that it's something I was running around doing all over the internet. But the amount of content you put out, that's literally, it's ancient history. But it's not, it still gets videos getting remade about it. They get hundreds of thousands of views. If not doing deadlifts, do rows become more important than pull-ups? Hey, Benjamin, first you wanted to get out of squats, now you're wanting to get out of deadlifts. I'm almost ready to call for a Kapow vote. I feel like you look for too much paralysis by analysis. You look for way too much paralysis by analysis. More important. Well, they're a different movement pattern, vertical versus horizontal pulling. One of them is an open chain. The other is a closed chain movement. One of them is moving your body through space. You know what I mean? I don't know that I would classify it as more important. You probably would need to do some standing stuff, though, that engages the posterior chain with the back if you're not deadlifting. But since we all deadlift, then why would this be a problem? Like if you're serious about getting jacked and strong, you're going to do some type of loaded heavy hip hinge or deadlift variation, right? Guaranteed. And if you're not, then you're not really taking your lifting seriously. So who cares? It would simply be my position. You do back extensions, but you don't do any form of deadlift. You don't even do maybe a heavy good morning. Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing these things, I'm just not going to take someone seriously. And I get it. Someone says, well, I have some disc herniations and I can't. Well, okay, but then you accept that if you got some disc herniations, you're going to leave some development off the table. Would be the way to look at it. I just, as a coach who's been doing this long, I just honestly, my viewpoint on just the excuses that people make to skip basic exercises, I just kind of roll my eyes at it, man. Peppermint, I feel attacked. We'll get after those deadlifts, man. It's just, my viewpoints on it at a certain point, I just roll my eyes. It's just like, just deadlift, guys. Just fucking stop. It's like the dudes who, same thing. Like I talk about the dudes who say they can't get a girl and they won't give up the anime, and then they'll defend it till they're blue in the face. I'm like, okay, but you're crying because you can't get a girlfriend, and it's just like, there's a point where I don't care about the excuses. It's just sad, it's pathetic, and I just don't care. It's kind of one of those cases of, I'm an old cantankerous man at this point. There's a point where with some of this from a dudes go squat and deadlift. Look, throw away your silly image. Just I don't care. I don't feel like blowing sunshine up somebody's ass all day long. At a certain point, I just can't. Either you're serious or you aren't. And if you're, or the expression we use here, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's like, and I guess that's my thing of, if I'm leading the horse to water, I don't want to hear from the horse why it doesn't want to drink. I just quite frankly don't care. And I think that's a reasonable position, given what I do and the information I put out and the decades of lifting and coaching. I just don't care about people's excuses. I'll just move on and tell them to go eat a dick. They can eat just a whole island full of dicks, whole beach full of dicks. I just don't care. Done. Go be a pussy, I don't care. Not my problem. That's just how I feel about it. I don't have time to convince people of it. Look, I've explained everything I've taught you guys this stuff. Either you want to go live serious or not. If not, fuck off. Don't waste my time. All right? Don't waste my time. Go waste somebody else's time. All right? It's usually my viewpoint on it. I mean, I'm just getting at that point in my life. That's just how I feel about those things. Like, whatever, dude. I'm not going to stand here and argue with people about it. Waste my time. Wasting everybody's time. Dudes don't want to deadlift. They want to be weak. Hey, man, that's their business. Some dude wants to watch anime all day. I heard Luke heard you today about strap on indirectly. Yeah, I know. Yep. Talking about old dudes with no integrity, but then he does stuff with vegan gains, right? That's some bitch made shit right there. It is, man. I'm trying not to. I got to minimize the cussing here, guys. I got to chill. That's a fake Lars. I banned the fake Lars from the live stream on Facebook just now. When doing a deadlift, what exactly you focus on? Hamstrings and lower back. You're focused on your entire body. Are you asking what's the biggest primary movers? Would be glutes and hamstrings. Quads behind that. But in terms of overall serious tension, you should be engaging and feeling everything. Your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your erectors, your lats, your traps, right? When I do a heavy deadlifts, I feel all those muscles. I feel every one of them tremendously, all the way through. Your lats should contract just as hard on a deadlift. I feel my lats on a deadlift just as much as I do on a weighted pull-up. So the primary movers in order are going to be glutes and hamstrings and then quads behind that. Now, the quads don't really go into a lengthened position. They do a very big chunk of the work, by the way, but we'll argue about the hypertrophy specificity of it because they don't go into a lengthened position. So they'll grow from it, but we could argue not optimally. But in terms of the force production, quads are actually pretty important to the actual force production itself. But it is going to be glutes and hamstrings first, and then quads second behind that. Erectors are only used isometrically. So your lower back is only used isometrically on the deadlift. Quads. Right. Right. Yeah, they are pretty important to it. Is this the same on back extensions? No. Your 3-day push-pull leg program seems pretty legit. I'm not currently doing one, but yeah, I've put some out. I need some more muscle on the cheeks. Y'all, I'm going to start next week. There you go. Some guy in Brazil dropped the bar on his chest when benching and died. Okay, so what happened with that? Yeah, I mean, a lot of my guys have got pretty good results doing the 3-day push-pull legs powerlifting. Definitely. Yeah, it definitely can work. I have a whole bunch of different templates all on here, dude. I don't know which one I recommend. It's going to depend on what you're doing. As I think dudes over obsess over which split they do, and really the focus should be on workload, intensity, fatigue management more than anything. He fought the iron, but the iron won. Yeah, that is sad. That's unfortunate. Our side lateral is really a pull. No. They work really well in terms of just movement pattern and pull type days, but I mean, technically, you can't really say they're a push or a pull. It's just it's a single joint movement. It doesn't really fall under what we would think of as a push or a pull, because a push or a pull is by its nature multi-joint. You know, so they're a raise. Yes, that's a good way to look at it. They're a raise, not a pull. Because again, there's a single joint, right? So again, think of the concept of pushing and pulling as multi-joint movement patterns. Whereas the slang terms are compound and isolation, but they're really, we mean single joint versus multi-joint, and it matters in that context. If we're going to make an argument of semantics, and since you're making an argument of semantics, I will make it one. When doing laterals, should you start with your hands at your side or slightly in front of you? Probably slightly in front of you. But it's probably, you're going to get a little more range of motion that way. Right. I've had multiple fake Lars come through the Facebook. I just banned them from the streams. Well, I care about banning them from the streams and the nonsense. They can still post on the wall within reason. I like your old side lateral. You talk about the thumb up. I gotcha. Yeah. I feel like laterals, no, they're not underrated. Everyone knows they work the traps. You know, I feel like it's common knowledge. So many dudes worry about their traps going too much. Yeah, I don't know why they're targeting Lars so much. The funny thing is they're not even using his real picture because I know what he looks like his actual real Facebook because he messaged me to get unbanned. So they're using his avatar. They've made multiples of it, new accounts. All right. What you gonna do? But hopefully they go spam all my posts. I hope they do actually. That gets reach. So I got like 6 possible. So by midnight, I need 2 more of my posts that were made with the right hashtag in the last few days to reach of 95,000 people. Yeah, 95,000. And I need 2 more out of any of those 5 or 6 that are in the running to do it before midnight. And I get a big cash bonus. But one of them, I already have one that reached 300,000. So it's got to happen by midnight. That's why I've been pushing hard on there today. I want that extra bonus. It'll reset and give me a new bonus, but I want to get that one. So hopefully they'll go there, and that'll give me one more person if they see those and click something on them. Right? That one person could make that 95,000th person. It might matter. Could put cash in my pocket. Mainly because I just had a client. I thought he was going to drop again. One of my regulars, he's like, he was a few days late. I messaged him. He saw the message. I'm like, hey, you didn't pay me on the first. He messaged me just now during the live stream. Hey, my cash flow is down and, I might have to drop just temporarily again. It's like, happens. This is a link. You can't put links on my channel. Links are blocked on my YouTube, Benjamin. You'll have to do it on my Facebook. Go do it on my Facebook. Links are blocked for obvious reasons on my too. Otherwise, people just spam hate videos about me. So I've had to just turn links off. So you can't link it at all anywhere on my channel. Is what it is, unfortunately. No. I mean, it not really. I haven't even been putting anything on it. There's still people paying, but I'm not doing any content at all. It wasn't enough to be worth it, honestly. It made a little bit, but definitely more than what all these most of the average OnlyFans chick. But it's just not worth it at all. Like I could just post memes and make more money at this point. Right. So I'm becoming a meme lord again. I figured out how to do it within their rules. So if you notice that, that's paying more, definitely more already. Like, no, probably not. I mean, not what I call a decent living. Like compared to say my coaching, what my coaching does when the economy's good. No, I don't know of any dudes out there on OnlyFans who are making the sort of money my coaching makes when it's a good economy, or what I make off of social media when everything is hitting hard. Is faking being Russian mercenary the most common? I don't understand. Car, I have no frame of reference for your question. Is faking being Russian mercenary the most common? I'm going to say no because I've never heard of a single person doing it ever in my entire life. I've seen 3 people fake. Everyone I've ever seen who's a fake mercenary was all for Alex Jones or above top secret, all conspiracy theory stuff. Is 100% of my experience with it, of knowing of anyone. So there were a bunch of them for whatever that, who was that conspiracy channel on YouTube like 20 years ago? They used to interview all these people. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about? And it had everything from that to Black Ops stuff to aliens. And do you guys know who I'm talking about? It was a really big channel in the conspiracy world who interviewed like 100 different people who were different insiders for they worked for aliens or hey Benjamin, that's an auto ban topic, by the way. Bye. So next. All right. You don't even get a warning on that. So Project Camelot. Yeah, Project Camelot. That's it. All right. Yeah. It's fake mercenary school. I don't understand what that is either, Spaz. I have no frame of reference for that. Coast to coast. Yeah, that stuff too. Yeah, all that stuff. That was my source material. So all that stuff. So Project Camelot, Coast to Coast, Alex Jones, and then Tom Clancy were my source material for the fake Merc thing. I'm Spencer, by the way. That name does sound familiar. Yeah. Right. So that was my source material for all of that. So that stuff combined with some Tom Clancy stuff, right, was the entirety of my source material. Right. But you do know this stuff is all crazy, right? So you do know all the Project Camelot, those people were all just crazy and charlatans and fakers. All of them. Like none of that's real, dude. They're mostly crazy people. Or just people who were having fun. Like pulling your leg just to do it. I think it was a combination. Yeah, it was still fun to watch back in the day. I thought it was fun enough to do spin off of it and try to do it for a little bit of satire for publicity, but that went quite poorly. Why is Clarence? Because he's off gear now. Right? You come off the sauce, bros. All right, we'll go ahead and end the Facebook. It's past the hour. Hey, you guys all hit up my Facebook, by the way. Look, I'm going to link it. Everyone in here, if you will go in here, if you guys will please just go down the road liking all my stuff, I would appreciate it. Like if you guys will go hit that up. I really need some of those things to kick off a little bit. I'll get a bunch of extra money for it, but they have to kick off by midnight. You ever heard of Bob Lazar store where he works? Yeah, I'm familiar with Bob Lazar. Yep. Dude, I followed all the conspiracy stuff back in the day, 20 years ago. Like I knew every single major thing behind all of it. Like I've been down every possible rabbit hole back then. I even had a copy of Philip Corso's The Day After Roswell. So Colonel Corso, his deathbed confession book is an Air Force colonel about the Roswell crash and all of that. So yeah. Now the question is, do I believe in any of it? Probably not. If I have to bet, I'm going to go. Like if I were to really have to bet my life on any of this, I'm going to go with probably not. if forced into that situation. But it can be entertaining. We all have our guilty pleasures. I'm the same. Like I love Bigfoot stuff, by the way. Right? I have probably seen 100 Bigfoot documentaries in my life when younger. I don't think it's real, by the way. I don't think Sasquatch or Bigfoot is real. I concluded that looking at the sum total evidence that these people presented. I don't believe in Bigfoot. But I love the lore around it and just the documentaries. Makes sense. It was entertaining. It was fun. I don't believe in it though. You know, but a lot of people made a lot of money out of this conspiracy stuff with all this, you know. Awesome. I appreciate that, Spencer. I just caught that. You're hitting the likes. I appreciate it, bro. What's your favorite period of history? I don't know, man. Probably Renaissance period. My cousin swears up and down he chased Big for the rifle and escaped in Laurel. He said it was fast. All right, fair. Was he drunk though? Was he sober at the time of this supposed Bigfoot? But maybe he did encounter something. Who knows? Maybe a big bear. I don't know. I mean, it's possible Bigfoot's real. I just don't believe in it based upon the evidence. I go on with no. But is it possible? Sure, it's possible. I don't want to rule it out completely. Yeah. Right. Except Loch Ness. I think the Loch Ness monster is real. If I got to pick one, man, there you go to make all the Scots. I think Nessie is the only one of these things that's real because I want to believe. I want to believe in the Loch Ness monster. I need about Tree. Right? I want to believe. So I believe in Nessie. So there we go. There's my one. I think the Loch Ness monster is real. Nessie could be a location dino. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a Leopleurodon. That's what I think. I think there's a breeding population of Leopleurodons up there in that lake. They go back and forth between the ocean. Jason, how are you? I'm good. Alex, let's make sure this is not a new channel. No, I'm good, man. How are you doing? Now, Jason, I think Nessie is actually real. That's the one I'll give credence to. I don't think Bigfoot's real. I think Nessie is. I think the Dogman stories are cool though. If there was a cryptid that I'd want to believe in, I would go with Dogman. But I don't think that's real either. It would be cool if it was. All right. Great. Dragged a sled, did some dips and pull-ups. I got a really weird one the other day. In my comments, there's a dude who said something about werewolves, right? And I'm just like, he's asking me, and I'm like, what are you on about? He goes, but don't you claim to be a werewolf? And I'm like, what? What? I'm like, you guys just make up new stuff all the time. Like, I've never heard that one before. Like, it's just weird. The claims that people make about me. I'm like, no, dude, I don't even think I've ever joked about that one. Like seriously, I don't think I've ever even told a joke like that, as far as I know, on any of my work. That was a weird one. Yeah, I feel like a Bigfoot body would have turned up at ocean is big place. Or yeah, exactly. So I think that's the difference with the ocean. Jason, did any truly get deported? I missed your stream. That's the rumor. I don't know it as a fact, but I think it's possible. What's up, Defiant? How you doing, bro? Skillet? No, that's the rumor that he got deported by La Migla. Lamigla, also known as ice. So you guys don't have large Spanish speaking communities around you, so you don't know that. If you did, you would know that La Migla is ice. It's immigration. So La Migla got him. They sent him back to Algeria. That would be crazy if that happened. No, it would be hilarious. No, crazy is not the term. So if ICE actually sent him back to Algeria, no, it wouldn't be crazy. It would be fucking hilarious. That's what it would be. Let's call it the correct term. That would be hilarious, not crazy. Yeah, he was pretty crazy. Dude needs a bath, man, is what he mostly needs. It's a nasty, greasy looking mofo. Dude needs a shower. He needs some soap and some hot water is what he needed. I hope they scrubbed him down before they put him on a boat or a plane back home. Probably the first good bath he's had in years. They had to delouse him, scrub him down with some hot water and some soap. Because he just looked greasy, didn't he? Nasty hair. An anime weirdo. Never seen a woman in his life. The last time he saw a woman was his mom. Like peeking up out of the basement, jerking off to Naruto. Weird anime freaks, man. I don't get it, dude. I'm not hating, I'm just telling you. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be petty or an asshole, but it's a flaw in my personality. You know, it just kind of comes out against my will. Like, I don't want to be that way, but I can't help it. Again, we all have our character flaws. You know, that's a flaw in my character. Didn't he give up YouTube because he lost? Yeah. Well, his hate videos didn't help. I reported enough of them that ruined any chance of getting the silver play. They wouldn't take his stuff down. I argued with support for tier creator support. I argued with them about it. If I had still been a partner manager member, like if I was still part of that program, they would have deleted him. Like, dude, Olivia deleted the hell out of all my hate channels. She even deleted Shadow Man. Like she just had him go away. She was like, yeah, we're just going to block all his pretty much IP ban. They got rid of him. She would have probably hit that pretty hard. But I was only in that program for 6 months and it's a temporary thing. So I had to argue with creator support about getting all his videos. And they're like, well, no, I mean, I'm like, dude, he's literally got blackface. He's got pedophile stuff in his thumbnails. And they're like, yeah, we know, but he's got a lot of following. But they said, you know, I think when I chatted with one of them, they're like, yeah, but it's bad enough. He's probably not going to be able to get monetization because of it. So you at least get that consolation. They're like, we're not technically removing it. You guys have to be kidding me. So I'm probably the reason he didn't get monetized, because I filed complaints and contacted creator support, like directly, like actual conversation, and got on the phone with them, like in a call. So I probably cost him making any money, which he could have just not come at me like that. And his thumbnails are what killed him on that. Yeah, he never got his silver plaque. He never got monetized. So that's probably why he gave up. He can't make any money doing it. So that's why he had to go do the other thing. And that's to me, but it's not really my fault. It's his fault for coming at me like that and doing that crazy stuff. Eventually I'll get them removed. No, it's absolutely why. No, I know for a fact that's why. So yeah, it is my doing. I made sure he was not going to get monetized. His channel is not in good standing because of some of that. Yeah, basically ruined him. Right, because when they do that review process, they're going to have those notes. They're going to have those notes of those complaints from another tier partner, and they're going to have that noted as thumbnails and the other stuff that he does as they're not going to be favorable to. So it pretty much screwed him. But again, it was his choice to do those things. He didn't have to come at me and pick a fight for no reason. I never did anything to him. So that's what he gets for being a creepy weirdo. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wind this down then. So give you guys a bicep shot before we go. Oh, Mount Bicephus. And we're out of here.